Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. I am ready for the event.
France TV, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
TV, how do you hear me?
France TV from Station. I hear you loud and clear.
Génial, c'est génial. That's great.
Yes, c'est génial.
On y va, vous êtes prêtes?
Are you ready? Shall we go?
C'est parti, allons-y.
Allez, on est parti.
Go.
Très bien.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Ça tourne partout?
Everyone ready? This is an inclusive interview with a heroine, a French heroine. She's the second French female astronaut to go to space. She is above 400 kilometers away from Earth. Good evening, Sophie. You've been there for 2 months on the ISS, and you look as if you're on great form. You're just off the coast of Chile. How are things? Is everything going well?
Écoutez, bonsoir Léa, bonsoir les
Yes, good evening Léa, good evening to everybody.
Effectivement, tout va très bien.
Yes, everything's going really well. As you have said, we're just over the coast of Chile, and soon we will be over Africa. It's absolutely wonderful. It's totally magical, and I'm delighted to share it with the French. So what was most difficult for you since you got to space 2 months ago? Find your bearings or zero gravity, find your feet? What was hardest?
Écoutez, c'est assez intéressant parce que je m'étais
Well, that's interesting because I was really prepared for every possible disaster, every possible difficulty from the actual liftoff to all of the different stages. And in fact, things went really well. And it's the simple things that became a little more complicated. Something that I found quite difficult at the beginning was actually finding objects in a third dimension. And in fact, there's never an object left where you left it last. They actually move around, and that is quite difficult. And if we don't actually attach them with these sort of clips, we've got them all over the place on our outs, on our trousers, because otherwise things just move off and float away. So that's quite difficult to cope with. Yeah, now you're talking about objects that move away. Is there one single object that you've taken with you and which can sum up your 2 months in space?
Écoutez, je pense qu'il n'y en a pas seulement un. Je vais vous montrer
well, there's not a single one. I'll show you 2 or 3 objects that I use every day. First of all, tools. Listen to the noise. I love it.
Et ça, c'est juste quelques clés à molettes qui sont là et qu'on utilise pour la maintenance.
Spanners that I have and that we use every day for maintenance. Then there's another small bottle here. You see that we drink recycled water. All the water is recycled, including water from humidity in the air and urine, water. So everything is recycled, and we fill up our bottle with a machine where we get recycled water from. And another object which I use, I think a lot of people are going to laugh, and me myself, that's my hairbrush. You see my hairbrush, which is floating around, and I was a bit surprised. I think probably many of you obviously see that our hair does really well here in zero gravity. It loves it. It's really difficult to stay well coiffed, but despite that, we have our hairbrushes. And one last object which I'd like to show you as well. This is an object that I've waited. It's the only apple that I've had in the last 2 months and a half. We had the NG24 that arrived just last month, and we all got one apple and one orange. So So I've saved my apple so that I could show it to you. And I would just like to say that I would like to eat it. Fresh fruit is something which is wonderful. And so I hope that all the audience will be, when you're watching this, I'll be eating my apple. So you're going to eat it tonight. Okay. So tell us about your day. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Alors moi j'aime bien me lever tôt pour commencer ma journée.
Well, I like getting up early, so I start my day early as well. But usually it's at 7:30. We get a morning briefing. All the station control stations are there, and they give us a 15-minute briefing. And then we have 12 hours of activity, and we conclude at 19:30, where we have an evening briefing as well, again with all the stations. 2 of them in the United States, 1 in Japan, 1 in Moscow, and 1 in Munich. And all of them give us the advice concerning science, maintenance, and all the activities that we have to carry out during the day. So let me just say, I usually get up at 5:30 because I like opening up early, waking up earlier. I put up the blinds and I do some gym. So what do you actually do? What sort of sport do you do? How do you actually work on your muscles and tone yourself?
Alors, on a chacun 1h30 de
renforcement. Each of us have an hour and a half for our toning. We use a machine. It's almost like a machine that you would use on Earth with weights. I've talked about this before. You have a system of pistons and vacuums. I've put that in a video. So, in fact, it's almost as if you were lifting weights, but it's adapted to zero gravity. We have 2 cardio machines, 1 30-minute session either on a bike or on a running belt, and obviously it's adapted because you don't have to sit. Yes, I know that you have a very busy time. You have to carry out 200 experiments in less than 9 months. Can you talk to us about some of the missions and some of the experiments that you're going to be carrying out on your 12-hour day?
Alors effectivement, c'est très très varié.
So it's very varied. There are lots of technical demonstrations. There are fundamental science experiments, a lot of medical tests on the human body so that we can understand how the aging affects on our bodies. I've done a lot of different issues concerning our toolboxes. Our toolboxes are hermetically and so we're working on future vaccines as well, how we can actually have the RNA and we can use this in different drugs in the future and vaccines in the future. I have also recycled water to come up with a filtering system so that you can have that for intravenous injections. And then those were more American experiments, but there were also European experiments on ultrasound tests with virtual and enhanced reality. All of this allows us to prepare for the future and also to use the results on Earth later on, particularly in medicine. Are you going to make a spacewalk? This seems to be every astronaut's ambition. Will you?
Mais écoutez, effectivement, c'est le Graal de tous les astronautes.
Yes, absolutely. It is every astronaut's ambition, and that's my next wish and dream on my list, on my wish list. But we're getting ready. You see, I have my French flag on my suit. This doesn't mean it's going to necessarily take place. There are a few walks that are planned for the summer. But in our group, we always say we should never count our chickens before they're hatched. So maybe I will be lucky, but I will only know in the future. For the time being, this has not been fixed completely. But anyway, I'm ready, and if I'm called to do it, I will, of course, obey. Now, how does the Earth look from space? What has surprised you most looking down at the Earth?
Écoutez, la Terre, elle est belle, elle est majestueuse.
Well, the Earth is beautiful, it's majestic, it's impressive.
C'est une sphère parfaite, en fait. Et on y voit tout autant la beauté et la brutalité en même temps de cet ensemble fragile cet univers très hostile qui est l'espace. La Terre, finalement, c'est un vaisseau spatial qui voyage dans l'univers. Et on comprend bien quand on est dans l'espace que le reste de l'univers est hostile, tout est noir,
and we realize that everything else around us is hostile. And so where it's black, it's difficult. So we see the earth in its beauty, but we also see the traces of manhandling of our earth. We can see lakes that have dried up. We've seen our forests, some of them that have shrunk, some that are doing okay. We can see volcanoes erupting. So you can see a lot from space. So maybe you think astronauts are far away from Earth, but we all feel that we're closer to Earth. We feel even more connected. And what do you miss most from Earth?
Alors c'est une bonne question parce que je me suis toujours dit que ma philosophie première
I've always said that my main approach in life was to really concentrate on what I have and not what I don't have. So that's the way I like to think. But obviously I'm human just like everybody else. What I miss is being with my family.
Pour vous faire sourire, je me suis mise en tête que le premier bon repas français que j'avais dégusté en rentrant, c'était une galette bretonne avec un jaune d'œuf dégoulinant et de la
would be to have a French crepe with a runny egg on top of it and a nice crispy edge. That's what I dream of. Oh, don't worry, the crepe will be waiting for you. It'll be waiting for you in Brittany or in Paris as soon as you get back. Now, how about living with all the other team members? Is it easy? Is it difficult?
Mais écoutez, ça se passe étonnamment bien. Je pense que
actually going extremely well. I obviously initially thought, oh my God, it's going to be difficult. We're going to be in a small space. How's it going to be? And in fact, we probably all have gone through the same sort of thoughts, particularly after the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, because we know it's not easy staying in a closed space. But all those who worked on us, the psychologists, the others, the teams that chose us, really did their job beautifully because we all get on, we help each other, we have a lot of fun, we actually have giggling fits, but we can be very studious as well, and we work obviously hard during the day, but in the evening we have a good time and we laugh a lot together. So you can see that we always have quite a good time. Well, I think you obviously do have a sense of fun. Do you have free moments, moments when you're alone? Do you listen to music, read, or just daydream? Do you have moments when you're absolutely alone?
Alors, il y en a quelques-uns des moments de solitude. Après, c'est vrai que je suis la plus matinale de l'équipage, donc déjà le matin.
As I get up very early in the morning, between 5:30 and 7, for example, usually I'm alone. The others are still asleep. So when I raise the blinds, that's just a special moment for me. I look at the earth and all the wonderful emotions that I feel because of that. And then before I go to sleep at night, you can read. So we're in our sleeping pod. We have it's a bit like a telephone booth, and we have a few moments where we can be on our own and read if we want. So how do you feel giving, and what's your relation with time? You have the time, but how do you know it's day or night?
Alors ça, c'est assez intéressant parce qu'au final, il y a
tous
les modules qui ont des fenêtres. Et en tout cas, quand il y a des fenêtres dans les modules, elles sont pas tout le temps ouvertes. Parfois, on a des contraintes qu'il faut
when there are windows, sometimes they're not actually openable. They have to actually sometimes stay closed. So we don't have a direct view to the outside world except in the cupola. But it's not always really easy to know which phase we're in, above which part of the world. So now, for example, we're between South America and South Africa. So actually, it's quite difficult to forget about what's happening underneath.
But we
on Greenwich Mean Time. So that is minus 2 hours to French time. And we all have watches that are very well set, and we have extremely tight schedule, so we know exactly what we're supposed to do every day. So what's going to happen next? What would you like to do after this? Go to the moon? What would you dream to do?
Écoutez, c'est vrai que je suis une grande rêveuse, donc
yes, I love dreaming and dreaming
bien sûr,
for a lot. And yes, of course, the moon would be part of my dreams. But I like to take things at step by step, pace myself. Everything is wonderful. If I were to manage to do a spacewalk, it would be fabulous. If I were to do other missions in space exploration, particularly far, remote space. I think all of this is really exciting because there are so many scientists, so many teams working on space exploration. For example, we saw that people were so thrilled and enthusiastic about scientific cooperation and these sort of missions. And my last question. This evening, you've got millions of French people watching you with your hair up in the air in your space station. If you had one message to give them, what would you say? Dare to believe? What would you say?
Alors ça fait partie des messages, oui, mais j'aurais aussi envie de dire
I think one of my messages would be dare to believe, sure. But I'd also like to say I'm very proud of France. I'm proud to be French. And I know that things are not always easy every day on Earth. People have a hard time. And I just like to say that from here, I really do think of all of you. I feel quite emotional right now.
Vous allez émouvoir des milliers de gens.
Well, there are going to be thousands who are going to be moved just like you.
Voilà, je pense fort à vous, même quand c'est pas facile, je vous assure. La France
I know. I would really like to say that France is beautiful. It's wonderful. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. That's what I'd like to say. Sorry for being slightly emotional. You are wonderful, Sophie. You are truly wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, live from space. It's extremely moving for all of us. Thank you very much. I'd like to also like to thank Astronaut and Medina for making this interview possible. Thank you.
Merci à tous, merci aux téléspectateurs et puis profitez.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone in France and make the most of your beautiful life in France, on Earth, and I hope to meet you all soon. We are waiting for you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
And thank you to all participants.
Thank you, Houston.
Now resuming operational audio communications.